Hello and welcome back to Called and Crowned. I am your host, Emily Ford, and today I am joined by my husband, Jake
Yeah,
Havron.
that's me over here, and it's not just us two anymore.
It's now us three. This is our
Yeah,
very first episode with our son, who was born on July 3rd. And currently, he is milking away, he's feeding away,
which praise
and
God, he latched the moment he came out.
he did.
He was like, "Where's my milk? Or where's my colostrum? That,
Where's
that,
my
that
colostrum?
golden milk? I tell you, that stuff. He is. If he wasn't gonna get it, I was gonna get it."
Oh my gosh. We are so blessed. We are here, not from our studio. We are here at home today as I'm in postpartum Maxingville, as they call it. Just taking time to be with Rain, taking time to heal because I did have a C section and it was not planned. Most of them aren't for the first time, but God always has a plan. So we're going to take you through today this birth story. I'm so looking forward to sharing with them.
Yeah. Do you think Rain's gonna share anything at the end, or
He might, or he might have some little toots. We'll see what happens
we'll see
here.
how good our mic is on
Yeah, hopefully.
blocking that out?
Yes. And yeah, and then we also want to share with you again, a little bit of our life moving forward, how it's going to look, and questions around not showing our son's face publicly. I know so many of you have been interested in that, getting educated on that. So, all in all, here we go.
Yeah,
This
let's
is our
dive in.
personal life.
Real and raw. If you're watching the video right now on YouTube, you can see what's happening. If you hear a little shuffling around, that's probably Emily relatching Rain over here, but he's chugging away, and he is a big boy.
He is a big boy, so we should talk about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's dive in, and if you haven't heard the full birthing story, we have an episode on that. You'll just go a
Not
few.
the birthing story. We have an
I'm
episode.
the pregnancy story.
Yeah,
Jeez, I got pregnancy brain over here
you
still.
too.
The pregnancy story. This is the birthing story. We've talked about that in detail, but the TLDR was he was a special gift. We were like, oh my gosh, we're pregnant, and we were like, there's something that can't be. That we thought there was almost something like wrong with Emily's like body, like if something was happening, she had some sort of illness. We went into the OBGYN to just see what's going on. He's like, well, it's either one or two options. Either you potentially have a cyst or you're pregnant. And we're like, doc, there's no way we could be pregnant. And we did blood work and we found out we had a little baby Rain in
Hmm.
us.
Yeah, it wasn't that we weren't trying, we weren't not trying, but we weren't trying. Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
Yeah, as we shared in our
Yeah,
other thing,
yeah, yeah.
like Emily, we thought Emily had her period, and we lo and behold, first trimester, there's actually could
Hmm.
be some bleeding, and so, but we get to have our little baby Rain, and it's been such a blessing. And then at 9 months and some, all the way up to this point, where a couple days out, his expected date was June 25th, right? And obviously that's estimated. The doctors, even to this day in 2026, you can't tell the exact date, but it's a good approximation. And as it was getting closer and closer, we were trusting, and Emily was moving and walking. You were doing curb steps. You were like working out, doing the mile. What is it called? The mile minute,
Mile
the
circuit.
mile circuit.
Yeah.
And
I was doing acupuncture. I was doing certain massages that can induce labor.
as it got to the
Yeah.
point where it was the due date, right? Because
Yeah.
he was already full term, he was healthy. She was doing stress tests to make sure his heart rate's great, which it was. So, like we were doing really well, but at the same time, I know that we I say we because it's us together, but it was tougher days for you, but you were really embracing it, and it was kind of like a motto we had because first trimester was rough for you.
Hmm.
Could have been worse from what we heard, but it was rough for you. Second trimester, you were glowing, moving, and then once he, started really growing, I think for you, and you could add into this, it was a lot of you had like a lot of lower back pain, where some people have different
Hmm.
issues or like
Hmm.
pains, and like for you, it was like a lot of lower back pain. Not too many contractions. There were some Braxton Hicks that came
Yeah.
later,
Yeah.
but it was to the point where it was just like a motto of, all right, babe, like day by day, he's healthy. We don't need
Yeah.
to rush this. We don't need to have any fear or angst be put over us. And
Hmm.
but once it hit June 25th, we're like, okay, let's start doing some natural modalities to help induce labor in a
Hmm.
natural way. And that's where you did the induction, the massage, hit certain trigger points, the acupuncture. a little bit of castor oil,
Yeah, I put it in like a protein shake.
which is
Uh,
wild that our own OBGYN, because there's some things where it's like, oh, okay, there's that little
yeah,
like
it's more homeopathic.
homeopathic, but he was like, hey, yeah, you should go, do some castor
He
oil
gave me
eggs.
a recipe. So we tried it. We tried it all, but one of the things that I think was most difficult for me and anybody who's a planner, okay, which is probably a lot of us, it was really letting go and letting God because, for example, my mom came out early. Well, she came out around the due date.
No, she
And
came out the night that you thought you were gonna have them, and you were having those hard contractions, which
w-
was the night of the 26th.
right, okay,
Because
so
she was waiting on standby, and then we're like, oh crap, it's happening.
yeah, so it was just like, it felt like you're just sitting around waiting all day. And obviously, if you know me at all, you're probably like, oh, she's probably not that good at that, right? No, I was really being tested. And then
Hmm.
when what else is a little stressful is when you get constant messages all day long.
Oh, your phone was blowing up.
Yeah, like, is he here? Is anything? And I'm like, I don't have time to write all these people back.
Yeah,
I mean, it was, but at the same time, I'm so grateful for that people that care.
yeah.
So you have to be very careful. But you start to kind of just get in this like,
Oh my gosh, is it
you're,
not happening in the right time?
yeah, it's very strange how it
Yeah.
goes. And, it was getting extremely difficult to sleep. I was hardly sleeping.
Sleep was rough.
Yeah. And,
We trained ourselves to be back sleepers because of the benefits of your back for that, and then we couldn't do back sleeping anymore. We tried being upright, but it just you had to sleep on your
mm-hmm,
side, and that was just rough. And
mm-hmm.
yeah, you really trooped through it. But the thing that I'm just grateful about you, and I guess why we're husband and wife to tag team this together, is that it was like day by day,
Yeah.
and being grateful that he's healthy, strong, getting those confirmations that because you don't know what's happening internally,
Mm-hmm.
and we do the stress test, and it's perfect health, and
Yeah.
we just had to trust and know that it's typical for first pregnancies to go over the birth date or the expected date, and
Yeah.
but then we started, take things in our hands in a natural way. And so it was the night of the 26th where, oh my gosh, I mean, you could share more in detail, but it was like, okay, I think we did a little bit of all those modalities. And then she started to get contractions for
Mm-hmm.
almost the first time. Like, seriously.
Yeah. And it was consistent contractions. And
Yeah.
we had the little contraction app out and we were timing them. You were timing them. They were getting more painful. And so for sure, and you can talk about the timing because I was so not, I was just contracting. You were more on the,
Yeah. Well, you want to, for all you moms out there, you're like, yep, this is it, and it's the 411 for first timers. And so it's having 4 rounds of contractions that last a minute within an hour. And so for her, she was having a lot of contractions like every 3 to 5 minutes, but they were
mm-hmm,
only around 20 to 30 seconds max, but they were
mm-hmm,
painful. So we would call in the hospital because I know you're not supposed to go early, but it's good to call. And we're letting them know. And then they called us back in 45 minutes, and it's around 9 p.m. at night. And then it started getting more and more intense where
mm-hmm.
like you couldn't talk. And it was like, okay. So they're like, yeah, I think you should pack up. And now your mind's racing. We're like, holy crap, this is the moment, because we had everything packed, but we put it all together. Emily's just trying to get her head around the idea of just getting out of bed, and so we get you packed up. We get to the hospital around 10. Surprisingly, I think it was like a weekend. Very quiet, which was beautiful here in Newport, which was surprising.
Mm.
We go into the triage. They go in, strap her up to see how the contractions are, the monitor, the health of his heart. Everything's great. She's contracting. It's getting even worse now because that bed's not most comfy. And then they go do the check to see if you're
Oh
dilated.
my God, which is already so uncomfortable. And I'm in so much pain. And literally, she checks and she comes up and she's like, nothing. It's at a 0. And I
Oh
was
my
like,
gosh.
how? How can that possibly be? But I guess it can. And that night, I was like, well, what do I got to do to like get checked in or whatever? And she was like, you need to be at a 4. And I was like,
Yeah.
so deflated.
Yeah, it
But it
was.
was so interesting. So we pack up, we go out, like go home to our car. I couldn't even walk to the car. I thought we were going to have to get a wheelchair.
I mean, every 2 minutes she'd have to stop. And we're like, we told the docs or
Yeah.
the nurses, we're like, we're probably gonna be back in a few hours, and we're like, okay,
Yeah.
and it was just because we didn't know, right? And this is those early false labors, I guess you would say. Because the good thing is, the good thing we didn't get checked in. Because
Hmm.
what happened is, even though she was in so much pain, and we're over here doing things naturally, like as much as possible. We're not gonna be taking all these pain meds right before, like no. And but we had a TENS unit. We did the pressure on her back, pushing all those things, the packs, ice packs, heat packs. Um, but what was nice is we thought it was gonna be the worst night ever. Like it was gonna be
Hmm.
no sleep. It was like 3 in the morning when we got home. Um, Gave us about an hour. I know it was a little rough, but we actually got some sleep.
Oh
And
yeah,
woke
I
and
passed out.
yeah, you were
Yeah.
so just tired. But then the next day there was no contractions. There was
And
nothing
then that went on for a couple
for a couple of
days.
days. So we're like, wow, good thing we didn't get checked in. But
But I
also,
felt like I was being punked.
I know.
It was really mentally frustrating because I'm like, how on earth could I have had that much contractions and then there was nothing for days? And it's just this weird thing, especially if you've never gone through it. And then my mom was already here at this
Yeah,
point.
she flew in the next morning because we're like, get over here, the baby's coming on the night of 26th,
I felt like
which it
she
would
was,
have been pretty cool. And obviously always in God's timing. But we're like, oh yeah, 62626. That would have been pretty awesome.
yeah.
But it didn't work out, and we have a better date for him.
Yeah, so days went by. Mom was here, which gave us some time to hang out, I guess. I mean, it was,
Cook food for her.
yeah, it was good. And then it wasn't until, gosh, okay, so
Well, July
July
1st.
1st.
Well, and here's the thing too. So now we're coming back, and now it's getting close to 41 weeks. We go do our test. That's when we're doing more of the stress test. And the doc, we picked a doc for a reason that isn't going to force anything on us, and let us do things our way that we have the choice to. And he's like, hey, we just want to make sure that, we want to keep them healthy, but around 42 weeks, like we're going to have to maybe figure out some natural ways to induce them. Like we're not going to force anything. And now that's that thought of like, oh crap, now the days are counting down. Once again, that worry, that angst. But we just had to remind, like, even I remember the conversation I had with you, which was, hey, we still have like 7 days before we have to even consider
Hmm.
that.
And then a lot of you are in my DMs being like, I gave birth at 42 weeks, Emily, you're fine.
Yeah, that was really nice to hear. A
I
lot of you were
know.
saying that, and that
I
was
know.
comforting. I was like, babe, like that person said she had a 42.4, and so that was very helpful, and we appreciate that. Even if we couldn't respond or she couldn't respond, like we see those messages, and so then the days went by, and then doing some more acupuncture, some induction, like trigger point, and yeah, it was the night of the July 1st. We're like, oh my gosh, we're gonna have a July baby, and it was getting to the evening, and I think it was really important for you to touch on because you're with your mom being here with so much going around, flurry
Yes.
ideas, like it was you needed your space, but it was hard to get your space because you were in consistent pain. Like talk about that moment of what happened where I think we're just like babe, just go in the room, turn the lights off, no
Yeah.
stimulation.
So everything was feeling forced. And even from like, if I look at business, life, whatever, it's like I've done so much the last few years to stop forcing everything and to call upon the Lord and be obedient to what He wants me to do instead of forcing my way into something, right? And I realized I was now living in Forceville
And it wasn't like we
instead.
were like really forcing things. It's
No,
just it
but if
was
you lived in my head, you
yeah.
would be so exhausted.
Yes.
And I was so exhausted. And I needed a minute to chill. And I actually walked in my office, now Jake's office, a hybrid office, our home office.
I took
And
over.
I think I had a little meltdown, maybe cried a little bit. And then and I just said to him, I need to pray, I need to meditate, I need to get quiet. And that's what I did. I went into our bedroom, I made it dark. He came in, he put some like Christian hydro birthing
The,
thing
the,
on
the, the kind of like, just Christian affirmations,
yeah,
hypnobirthing, but Christian
yeah.
affirmations. And
So he laid with me for a little bit. We listened to that. And then I was like, oh, this is so great. I just wanted to keep going
yeah.
because I was so exhausted. And so it just kept
So I
playing.
put a new one on. I was like,
Yeah.
babe, I'm going to go finish up some work. I'll come back. This is around 8,
Yeah.
8 p.m. And then you saw something or had like a idea about
Yeah.
Mary.
So just because I was so chill after meditating and praying that long, I was like, I just want to, like, I don't know. I want to learn more about Mary, the Virgin Mary. I just need to get in Motherville right now. And so I started to search up things on YouTube and I found this sermon from this guy. It's like 2.5 million views and it's an incredible talk on Mary and kind of things you don't know about her and her characteristics. I'll find it and link it in the show notes below. But I just sat and watched that. I remember my mom came and crawled into bed with me, and I was like, okay, if you're here, you got to be quiet, you know? And so we were just soaking in, and we're so inspired by Mary. And funny enough, my mom's name is Mary. And then from there, I was like, oh, I just want to keep learning about Jesus. So then I started watching this famous YouTuber who went to all the places Jesus lived, and he, toured the lands, and it takes you through like
It's really cool.
that type of discovery video of where he lived and all that stuff. Watch that. And so at this point, I was so chill. It was probably
Yeah.
11 p.m. at night.
No,
No, it was
like 10.
10:30.
It was 10.
10.
And
We
then
ate a little.
I come in, I'm
You
watching
you
it with
ate a little
you.
popcorn.
Had some popcorn. I was just like, oh, this is nice. It's so chill in
Yes.
here.
And I was like, if you want to be in here, you got to be cool. You got to be cool. You got to be chill. Otherwise, get
You
out.
told that to me or Mary?
No. I think that was just the vibe I was putting off. So then what happened is after this little, Mary saga.
I go put away the popcorn.
Yeah, and I
And
go to the bathroom.
She goes to the bathroom. And then all I hear is like, babe.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, something's going on. And I'm like, what? And I go in there and she's like, I feel like I'm peeing, but I don't know.
But I'm not peeing.
And she's on the toilet and I'm like, oh my gosh. This might
And
be your water.
but I kept peeing, but I wasn't peeing, and obviously my
Or water broke. And I was like, oh,
And then
it was like the coolest thing ever because the statistics is like 1 out of every 10. And
Yeah.
I always joked with her. I was like, are you going to be one of the 10%?
Yeah.
So,
And then I looked in the toilet and there was like a little bit of the bloody show.
yeah.
And
We're like, holy crap, it's happening.
I know. And then it was so funny
And
looking
she's getting
back.
a little embarrassed because like every time she thinks she's done, she stands up. She's
No,
like, peeing herself.
yeah. So I would stand up and
Good thing you were in the bathroom though.
yeah,
Let's be real.
you were like, we gotta go. And my mom's like, we gotta go because they say when
Oh,
you're
I didn't say we got to go. I said we don't have to rush. 'cause
Yeah,
that's what the doc said.
we have to
So
pack.
let's start packing.
repacking.
And then
so
she's over here trying to hold a towel between her legs. I'm like, get the depends
no,
out or
I
whatever.
mean,
they're
I
called.
was just like, yeah, I was peeing it wasn't pee, but I was that amniotic fluid, whatever.
And then when she thought
Yeah.
she was done, then he would move around and a little pocket will open up and more would come out.
Oh my gosh.
You went through a couple diapers before we even left.
I know my mom's trying to like mop up my amniotic fluid and my dog's trying to lick it. I mean,
Oh my gosh.
it was pretty funny trying to get out the door. And so we got
Yeah, we weren't rushing, but we're like, okay.
Yeah.
And we texted our doc
Yeah.
and we told him. And
yeah.
so I'm over here on my side while she's getting packed up. We're not rushing because we know we don't have to rush yet. But I'm like, oh my gosh, this baby's head could come out in 10 minutes if we heard some stories. But it also could be another couple days. And so I'm like putting the car in. I'm like, this is the last time we're going to be leaving. Like it was very surreal. It was like, you can't come back once your water breaks because you're going to be in there one way the baby's coming. Where the other one, I was like, okay, that was a false alarm.
Yeah.
So it was quite surreal. And we got you packed up, head to the hospital around 11.
Yep. So we're on our way to the hospital. Let's take a quick pause to put him to
Oh.
bed because he's sleeping.
Oh, we're putting him in bed. Okay, we'll be right back. Okay, we're back.
Okay, we're back.
Need to give him a little nap time over here.
It was nap time. And when he falls asleep, you got to capitalize, let me tell you. All right, so we're on our way to the hospital. Every bump, I was like, rah, 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 rah. Like those speed bumps at the hospital, they are no joke.
Yeah, because there's no more cushion with all the water out.
Yeah. And so it was super sensitive. We go back, Groundhog's Day.
Yeah, we're going to triage
Except
again.
this time, we felt more welcome. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
no,
they do.
because I knew that they wouldn't turn me away.
Yeah.
I'm joking when I say that.
They
But-
do all the tests. They still see she's only like 1 centimeter dilated.
1.5.
1.5. But they said your water broke, so we have to admit you now because it's time. And so we get admitted. We have like 5 suitcases worth of stuff, blankets, pillows, all this things, but we didn't bring it up yet. So then we finally get her to the actual birthing room, and then I go down and I was like, I'm not doing 2 trips, and so I grabbed everything. Remember that when I walked in with all the stuff?
Yeah.
She's in so much pain. She's like trying to figure. Well, you were doing pretty well, but the contractions were occurring.
No, it hurt.
Doing all
Let's
the
just be
tests.
real. It hurt.
Yeah, it hurt, but then
Yeah.
it started ramping up. And so our whole goal, it was like from the beginning, you knew, because I mean we've worked with clients that were awesome anesthesiologists, like we've really done things very holistically, but we also knew the pros of doing like a slow drip as needed epidural, where it's not, and they don't really even do this in modern technology, I guess now, where it's like not a big dose where you can't even move your legs, like just enough to take away the pain. You can
Hmm.
still move your legs. You can't get out of bed at that point. So our whole goal was like, say, how, because we didn't know if he was coming in an hour, couple hours. How long can we go before you need that?
Yeah,
And
I really did want to just try, you know. I really did. I'm like, maybe I can do this. But it was raging.
oh, it was like every minute, hard contractions. I'm pressing on her back. I mean, it's going into now 1 a.m., 2 a.m. We have a TENS unit on her back. They heat packs, and just every minute she couldn't relax. And so I'm trying to talk over her, pray over her, try to help her. She's just
I
going
almost like
into
pulled you into the toilet with
where
me.
she goes to the bathroom because
Yeah.
she has to feel use bathroom, and then she's like cramping, and then she's like ready to like rip my head off. And I knew it wasn't personal, hopefully. Was it
No,
personal?
no, it wasn't
Okay.
personal at all. Yeah, it went on like that for a long time.
And they would be checking and all that, and it was around 4 a.m. I mean, mind you, we got in the hospital around 11, and we're like, all right, it's time for the epidural, and making sure everything's good. And their anesthesiologist was awesome, one take wonder, really quick. And I mean, within the 15-20 minutes, we were
Hmm.
finally able to relax.
Yes, but then what happened is I started throwing up.
Oh, it was rough.
I started throwing up probably every 30 to 60 minutes until I gave birth. So this went on now for a whole into the morning,
Yeah.
and then we did a check at like what the next day.
Like 9 a.m. We got a couple hours of sleep. Obviously, she was waking up to throw up, or kind of sleep deprived already, but it's like this is part of the process.
Yeah.
And they do a check. She's still not really there. Then we had the most amazing nurses that just really make a difference. I mean, they just make you feel so loved and appreciated, and that meant a lot. Because you hear about those stories where you're like, oh, you're just you're there, but it really does matter. You feel taken care of. You feel appreciated. They're going above and beyond. I remember the one nurse brought in like what was it, peppermint, something to help, and we're like,
Mhm.
hey, why didn't any other nurses bring this in? Wow, who is she? And then she was just so sweet to you.
Yeah.
But yeah, they did checks, and you were not dilated, but you were progressing, and it was good. But
No,
you
I
were,
was dilated. I was progressing. By the time noon rolled around,
oh yeah,
I was at 8 centimeters.
yes,
So then at 8 centimeters, we were like, oh, wow. No, this was 9 a.m. I was at 8 centimeters. They're like, man,
you could be having them by the afternoon.
you should probably have the baby out by noon, is what they said.
Yeah,
And then an entire day goes by,
she couldn't get
and
past 8.
I couldn't get past 8.
She's contracting well. She doesn't feel it, which is great because of the epidural, but they're monitoring it,
Again, throwing up though every 30
throwing up,
minutes.
staying hydrated. They're doing movements, positions, all the things
Yep. So what we did then is I had a great nurse, and we did every position imaginable to get my pelvic floor, to get my everything open, my cervix,
yeah,
all the things, and nothing would budge. And then now we're like into the second day that it's
yeah, the
almost
nighttime.
it's July 2nd now.
Yeah,
And
well, July, yeah, the end of July 2nd.
yeah,
And it was really cool. By the way, I just thought this was a nice little detail. Like we brought a speaker in, and we're playing like a nice worship playlist called a Rains playlist, and it was cool like seeing, because we had a couple of believers of nurses, and they're trying to be mindful, but they're like, oh, that's really nice music. And then as you spark the conversation, you find out that they're a full on believer, and it was just a really nice atmosphere in there. And as much as it was pain and stressful and all that, it was, we're doing everything we can, trusting in the Lord, and it was getting to the later of the night. Now this is where, for doing labor that long, and I know there's been some crazy labor stories, you have to now weigh in some pros and cons, which is unfortunate, but still fortunate because her water broke already. So if her water didn't break yet, we might have had more time. But because now the water broke, there's increased risk
mhm.
for infection. his heart could start to get a little like softer. Her contractions started to get a little more weak. And so now we're getting into around 10, 11, 8 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to have the conversation of like, hey, or actually, no, it was before that. It was like, do we want to do a little bit of Pitocin to help induce you to get to that from 8 centimeter to 10? And we were trying to avoid all of that, right? Do it natural.
But
But she
we,
couldn't break the 8 centimeters.
yeah, we were at the time threshold for
So
sure.
we're like, let's just do very minimal. And so it started to strengthen up her contractions. And then, but then she just wouldn't go to 10. And so they did a little bit more, a little bit more. Then we're like, all right, now it's almost midnight. We don't want to keep pushing this because then it's going to be more issues. Now, the doc came in and was like, we have to consider that maybe C-section might be the best thing. We don't want to go down this route as we
I
planned.
remember looking at them and I'm like, you're kidding.
Yeah, it was rough.
Yeah.
She was so tired. We were tired. We wanted to make
I
this
was so
natural.
dizzy.
I was like, can we get a second opinion? Because they're putting their hands up there trying to figure out if she's 10 centimeters. I'm like, could someone else see? Because it sounds like you're all kind of giving slightly different
Well,
answers.
one person was like 8 and the other person was like 8.5. I'm like,
Yeah.
how do you do this?
And so another OBGYN came in and they respected and appreciated the second opinion. Like they knew we're doing this together. We weren't combative and they weren't either. And they did the check and it was still the same. And so we're like, shoot. So now Emily's like roughing it. I have to go step out with the doc to talk all the pros and cons with this. What does this mean for her? What does this look like? What if we try to push more Pitocin to go natural? Well, even if she goes 10, she could go an extra 4 or so hours maybe of trying to push. Like I was like, crap, that's gonna be rough. He could get stuck. He's a big boy. And so I went out there, and this was obviously I was outside the room, so you don't really know too much of this. And I was talking to the doc and the nurses, and then I was like, okay, well then let me talk with her, give us a few minutes, and I just kind of
This is all a blur to me.
I got in the bed with her because it was like a lot of back and forth, so she couldn't even breathe. Once again, like how when she first broke her water broke, she got to relax. I was like, all right, just give us about 15, 20 minutes. Got to bed. I was rubbing her back, and we were just like listening to music and breathing because it was pretty stressful up to that point.
Mm-hmm.
And then I turned you over, like talked to you, and I just was like, hey, so here's the situation. I was like, first off, I know like we both want to go natural, as I'm sure anyone would in that position, but here's what it's not sounding like it's going to be. And even if we do get you to 10, it's going to be a rough couple hours, if at most, and it could be longer. And if it doesn't work, then now it could be a potential emergency C-section, and we don't want that. And now it's so much stress for our baby, and we just want a healthy mom and a healthy baby. And you came to agreement to it, and it was really nice. It was like we prayed. It was one of the hardest decisions we've experienced because you're thinking like, well, what if something goes wrong? Like, is this the best decision? Do I need other answers? And then you start to get in that, once again, that fear and that angst. And I had to just remind myself, and also for us, because I know that you were like, it was all a blur for you. Like, just pray, trust in God. And what do you feel peace about afterwards when you really come to Him? Then lean into that. And we felt peace about it because we knew it'd be best for him.
Yeah.
And so then they come in, they're moving fast because they had the team ready. It's not an emergency, but they want to make sure that there's no delay because
they were moving fast.
So we had to pack all our stuff up. They were trying to get her situated, put a new IV in, which didn't work out well because she's already like a balloon with just all the fluids they were pumping in you. She's about to rip someone's head off because she's still not feeling the best. Then finally, I
need to go help her.
Yeah, go. Yeah. All right. Okay, we're back again, and we got a little Rain with us. He wanted some extra feeding, and so that's part of this dynamic. But what I was sharing with is, so finally, we're all packed up, and this was a moment, because now you're living through my eyes, because
I'm basically incoherent. Yeah.
And she's getting wheeled off to the operating room. They help me with the luggage. Then I have to go and put the scrubs on. And, for us, we wanted to capture this moment, right? And so we had our cameras and stuff for the birthing room. I was like, oh, crap, now we're going to be in the operating room. This is going to be a little bit more tight-fitting. And so now I'm waiting on the side, like I'm waiting to get called in while they're getting her prepped. And, she's still puking. She's not feeling good, all these things.
Which, by the way, I had no idea that my husband was going to be taken from me. Like, I had no idea I was going to be put in this room, basically strapped down. Like, I didn't know that you weren't going to be with me. It was a blur.
Yeah. And when this is at now 4 a.m. in the morning, 24 plus hours of just craziness. And so now I'm waiting, and I just bring a little white tripod with my phone because it's a tight space in there. And I just remember, because I used to be a nurse, and there was one time I've sat in for preceptorship in an operating room for C-section. I remember getting a little woozy because I was on the opposite side. I was like, please, just don't get woozy, Jake. But I go in there and it's like this quick flashback of everything. But then I see my wife like crucified on this table, arms on the side, fully naked, as I've said it should be because it's operating room. And it was just so bizarre feeling. Like I knew she was taken care of. I knew it was like a great team, the best hospital here in Southern California. But at the same time, I'm like, this is so just wild.
Yeah.
And I was trying to keep my composure because I knew I had to be that support for her. And so she looks over, and I'm like, "Hi, baby," and she's like, "Where?" She's like, "Where's my my puke bag?" Because it was on the side, and everyone's trying to do their thing, and she's over here like not wanting to puke on herself, and
I had to turn my head and just throw up and let it go on the side of my mouth.
she's shaking nonstop. I
My
mean,
whole body was
let
shaking.
alone now the place is cold, it's just white. And so that was just a really interesting moment. I got to sit down next to her. I just put the tripod up because I just wanted to capture the moment. See, and this is the thing too, is like we didn't have to have a whole production. This isn't for show. We just want to capture this moment because, as you'll hear later, when we watch these moments now, it still brings us to tears.
Well,
And
and I don't.
and you don't really remember too much of
No,
it.
no.
And also, what was really cool, maybe this was you, like when you got to see our video of this experience, like maybe you didn't get to video yours or have that memory, but it brought back memories of your birthing
Mm-hmm,
experience and
mm-hmm.
bringing tears. And that's like, I didn't even think that would be a thing. And that's so beautiful. And so put the tripod up, then they put the curtain up, and I'm just trying to talk in her ear, trying to bring so much like joy and love in her. And I could just tell, like, I'm just over here, like, I just hope she doesn't have a nervous breakdown or anything because we're so close. Like, now is the time where finally we know he's coming one way or another. There's no more what ifs. Oh my gosh, how long this will take. I look over at the anesthesiologist. I'm like, hey, remind me, how long does it take before our baby actually comes? And he's like, well, like 15 minutes. And the whole process is around an hour. And I was like, oh my gosh, babe, like literally in about 5 or so minutes we'll probably meet our
I
son. And
know.
so then that was giving that hope, right? I was trying to do what we do with our clients, our people, our team, ourselves, is like paint a promising future. Because
Right.
it's been such a rough journey, but still so rewarding. And I couldn't even, and I was like so proud of you in that moment.
Mm.
Like I really was, to see you like stripped naked, crucified on that table,
Oh my.
arms on the, like it was wild looking.
Yeah.
And I was like, gosh, look at this woman. She is pushing away through all the way to the end. I'm so proud of
Oh,
you.
thank you.
So I was just like, what can I do? And I'm just like trying to like bring peace, rub your hands, massage your head.
Mm.
And so a couple minutes go by, you hear them starting to talk, they're saying their things. And then finally, then you hear in the ear, because you're just trying to stay in the moment with your wife, you hear out. And then I'm kind of like still talking. I'm like, wait, does that mean the baby's out? Or like, and then we hear 4:35, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I think
I know.
so then we start crying just hearing that, and there's no cry yet. So now like every second is an hour because that you want to hear the cry. Like, oh my gosh, like, is he okay? That's the thing. We hope it's healthy. Then what does he look like? Oh my gosh, it's the moment. And then you hear him cry, and it was just, we captured that, which it was just so beautiful. And so then they're getting him taken care of, and now I'm over here like,
No, we heard him cry.
yeah, we heard him cry.
Yeah.
And they take him over
Yeah.
right to the side and they're like, hey, husband, you want to, or dad, or whatever you want, they call you, dad, mom, dad, you want to come cut his cord? And I was like, oh my gosh. And so I'm like, yeah, cut his cord, but I'm over here thinking I want to bring him as close
Yeah.
to
Mind
her.
you, we had a whole birth plan, delayed cord clamping, goes on my chest right away. We had like an entire plan printed out. But because we got thrown into this, like they didn't relay, like, I don't even think you can immediately go on your mom's chest on a C-section. I think,
Yeah, I mean, we've seen some stuff here and there, and so she was really wrestling with that because now I'm over there.
and I'm like yelling. No. So here's the real truth. yes, I was dazed and confused, but I was laying there like, "Where's my
Yeah.
baby? Bring my baby."
Oh.
I know.
And so I go over there and, they're like, do you want us to take a video? I was like, yeah, of course. And so I cut the cord, but then right away, I'm trying to be present in this moment because I know that the priority is to get our son to Emily. Like that matters more than anything because I know how important that is for not just him, but also for her. And, but at the same time, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is my child. Like, this is him. And I'm looking at him and, he's a little squished up and purple as
Oh,
any
he's
baby
so
is. But
cute.
I'm like, this anticipation for 10 plus months of wondering who he is, what he looks like. For me as the husband, I only get to experience him really through her experience and plus a little bit of kicks here and there. Like if I say something and he responds, I'm like, oh my gosh, he could hear me. But that was my experience. And so to have like an actual physical experience, it was so surreal. Yet at the same time, I'm like, I need to get him to Emily. And so I'm like, okay, can we just get them finished up here? Whatever they were just, I think they were just trying to do their basic stuff, not even the full check. And like, yeah. And so we got them over. Like, I know it probably felt like an eternity, but it was 2 minutes and getting them situated over here. And then they bring them over, and I'm not trying to look at the other half of her because I just don't want to experience that because I don't want to get woozy. And we get him over, and I just remember he was, crying, all these things. What was, oh, this was really special, as I'm sure a lot of parents at this moment. Like he was crying until I came over, and then he grabbed my finger right away, and oh, getting him latched on, and and then he stopped crying. I was like, oh my gosh, this is literally the experience where when they hear your voice,
Yeah.
they actually recognize it. And then when they took him over, he was crying again, and I just remember that moment so vividly. Which I'm grateful we still caught it on camera, which was handing Rain over to you for the first time. Do you remember
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
What was
And
that?
then he grabbed my hand.
What was that like for you?
Oh, it's amazing. Like everything I was mad about went away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he like, and I loved seeing that. He like softened up on you. He laid there, grabbed your hand, and he stopped crying and got a couple minutes with him, and it was so special. And then so then they were getting her finished up, and they're like, Dad, do you want to come to the next room to we're gonna do his vitals, his whole thing, make
Yeah.
sure he's good. So I was like reassuring you that I'm gonna be with him, which was awesome the whole time. And so we take him to the other room. She's getting um, sewn up, and I mean, he was a stud. He is a
Yeah.
stud. He like they did all the little tests, and I'm just there like over him the entire time while they're doing the tests. And then, we did. We were very particular on like not doing many things for him, and going natural and whatnot. But it's important. Like we got a all preservative free vitamin K shot, and so they have to put a little needle in him, and so they give him the shot, and he didn't even like. It was so funny. I was like watching him. I'm like, oh my gosh, like how's he gonna respond? And he kind of grimaces, and his lip quivers a little bit, and then he just like hangs out with me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, he didn't even cry. This guy's a
Yeah.
stud.
Yeah.
And so now I'm hanging out with him. I get some skin to skin, and I'm just waiting for her to come out and have her time with him. And so 15, 20 minutes go by. You know,
He hasn't slept, so I gotta.
yeah,
Well,
there you go.
I don't need a small one.
Come on. Let's finish up.
Okay. You're doing a great job. It's like, I don't want him to,
You're fine. It was just fine.
getting overtired.
And so 20 minutes go by. I'm over here trying not to like break the little baby. I remember like just that feeling, even though I knew that they're resilient. I'm trying to hold him, and then he starts trying to go for my nip, and I'm like, no, 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 wait for mama.
Oh,
And
that's funny. Because I, at this point, was getting sewn back
yeah,
up. Yeah.
and then they wheel her into the room, the room next to it, and I'm like, so nice to just see her, and she looked great, and she's still shaking, and then the moment they do skin to skin for real, and they give us the time, and they're not rushing anything. I remember your whole body just relaxed, and
Yeah.
that's like there's scientifically proven on that, but because you're like, oh my gosh, you can't stop shaking. It's just like put the baby on you. And
Yeah.
we put a baby on him.
And then he just latched right away.
Latched right away, and so that was just so special. and you were handling it really well with just even the post-op. Um, about an hour goes by, then we get up into our other room, get situated. Supposed to be there for around 4 days because of the C-section, but she just recovered like a champ. Like they were taking care of you.
Also, because we were there so early, like we were there since July 1st, I was like so ready to go.
Yeah.
That
But
was,
you're doing great. And I mean, every
yeah,
nurse was, and they weren't just saying to say, but like, they're like, her uterine wall tone is so strong, and like,
yeah.
and your body is responding well and strength. Like it was all the things that we could only pray for. That there was no
Hmm.
complications, nothing on that. He was perfectly healthy, little champion. He was
99 percentile.
came out 9 pounds 2 ounces, almost 20, 22 and something inches. I'm like, it might be a good thing that we went that route because he might have
Hmm.
been a little football coming out.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So, yeah, then we had a couple days and did 4th of July in the hospital and
Oh,
watched
that was really
watched
special.
about 9 different fireworks displays and came home on a Sunday.
Yeah. Even on a Sunday, the fireworks, that was really cool watching that because we were on the top of the looking over the water
Yeah.
and seeing all those fireworks in Newport. Special moment, and
200, what, 250 years?
250-year
Yeah.
anniversary. And it was really cool because he was born July 3rd, 4:35 a.m. And what's really special about that is, so July 2nd is the exact middle date of
The
the year,
year.
July 2nd.
Yeah.
And part of Rain's name, and we didn't plan this, it's just how God intended it, is, Rain, he's a man after God's heart. He's just, it's just within the name itself, Rain. He is there to serve the Lord.
Mm.
And Havron is my last name. Ford is Emily's last name, but that's now his middle name. And what's so cool about it and what meant a lot is, so Ford is an actual place in a river where it's like shallower, so you could cross. And then Havron,
We'll tell it in the Bible with a Ford.
yeah. So but that's just what Ford is. Ford is
Yeah.
is a crossing, and then Havron is closely, it's Irish background, Celtic, but closely related in the Bible as the city of Hebron. And the city of Hebron is where King David was crowned as king and anointed, and also that's like the main area, the holy city where um, Abraham lived. And so it's very, very meaningful, and it's like a promised holy city type of land. Um, and so when you kind of put it all together and you think about it, like,
Mm.
because in the book of Joshua, when they crossed from the wilderness to the promised land, as Moses was bringing people over, but Moses didn't finish the job, Joshua did. They crossed the Jordan River, I believe, for the final one, and they crossed through a ford. That's what it was. The water lowered. It wasn't, the giant walls like Moses,
Right.
but that was a ford, and that was the crossing from going from the wilderness to the promised land.
Hmm.
And so we just believe that there's a beautiful calling on our son to be a man that's after God's heart, who helps people cross from their wilderness,
Yeah.
their places of being isolated, into the promises that the Lord has given them.
Oh,
And that's what Hebron is the promised holy city. And so what was cool about July 2nd is that's the exact middle date where I was kind of like, okay, July 2nd would be cool, but July 3rd is the place after the crossing. It's the
right.
day after the middle, and that's him coming to this world. And
So
so,
cool.
yeah, so it's really special. And
Yeah.
I'm sure that
So
you should feel that way about your son. He's or
if you have,
daughter,
yeah,
or if you're gonna have one, like, they're gonna be the most incredible person to you, as they should, because the
if
Lord
it's
has.
God's will, it will
Yeah.
be done. And yeah, so we came home.
Came home, drove really slow.
That drive home is crazy.
That was yeah, that
You're
was
like, they just let anybody out of here with these babies?
yeah.
That's wild.
Took a little time to figure out the car seat, but we figured it out.
Dad's over there looking up YouTube. No, you're great.
I just didn't know how to strap him
Yeah.
in. He was ready. The car seat was in,
Yeah.
but I didn't know how to strap him
Yeah. Yeah. So now this is our new life, our new
in. Yeah.
normal. And I'm so excited. I have a new motivation. I think it's wild with a child because your motivation just gets deeper. At least mine does. I'm like, who doesn't want to live in their purpose? You have a kid to show that to.
Yeah.
Um, it's just a whole different thing. And so we look forward to, including him in our life. And exposing him to all the work that we do. And, something that I've always prided myself on as long as I've been an entrepreneur is designing my days and designing my life. And so for me, it's like the best of both worlds is going to a little bit of work that moves the needle and my purpose. And then, having him around, and not, not afraid to share that I'll have help as well. But that hybrid of having both is really what I want, and I'm excited for it. And um, I know we've got our first trip coming up to Nashville, so that'll be a whole new topic of traveling with a baby, but we can do it.
Oh, we can do
Yeah.
anything if
And
life strengthens us.
there has been questions around, why aren't you showing his face online? And this is for a multitude of reasons. And in another episode, we can go deeper on this. In fact, I'd love to have some specialist professionals that are really well versed in this topic, but I know enough to have discernment. And this is for us, okay? This is a personal thing. And
Mm-hmm.
so please don't feel bad, or think that I would ever think less of you if you do something
Mm-hmm.
different. Um, but this is something we talked about probably since I was like 5 months pregnant, and we weren't sure what route we were going to go. But the longer I became pregnant, the more the discernment for both of us heightened. And then with the AI heightening, and then I always say people are portals. People in my
Vessels.
direct
Vessels.
They're portals. God sends people to you with a message for a reason. And people in my direct network, like stories started coming to me of our child's photo was on a pornographic website. This is a very well-to-do family who has one of the biggest nonprofit organizations in the world for children. Their literal child's photo was on a pornographic website.
They
And
try to use it against them for leverage because the person sent them the message and showed them these videos and used it as like leverage
to
and
get money.
yeah,
And this is like one story
just
of
one of
a
many.
direct couple that we know
Yeah,
goes to our church. And then there has been multiple other stories in different ways. And also, and I can tell you this story on another day. I mean, you know, combined with my audience, it's like millions of impressions. That's a lot. That's a lot
a lot of
of,
people out there and a lot of
yeah,
weirdos.
a lot of weirdos. And I have had stalkers before. I have had people follow me home. Um, Not recent, but I've been through all that. And I don't think it's up to me to expose my son when he didn't choose for that yet in his life. Do I believe he'll be a public figure someday?
Oh yeah,
100% I do. And does that mean I'm not going to share him when he's 18 or 16 or no? No. Like that doesn't mean anything. I'm not set in stone, but as of right now,
it says right
being
now
an
we're just protect
infant,
we're protecting his innocence.
yeah.
There's a lot of weirdos out there. It's just the TLDR of everything. That's what beautiful you said. Is
Yeah.
there's you cannot like trust me. Sometimes we all live in our own bubble, and that bubble's nice until someone comes to pop it. And once again, like Emily said, we just double down. You can choose to do whatever you want. We're not going to judge you or anything, but this is our decision because of
Mm-hmm.
what we've experienced, what we've seen, and also what's known out there to be a reality. Is that all it takes is like that example. It's not so much like, oh my gosh, people are going to steal photos and act as if that's their child. It's more of like they're going to use some disgusting ransom type of things,
Mm-hmm.
and even worse, with your poor child's innocence. And even if your child doesn't see that, it's the fact of the innocence of that child of yours, and that now sits in your head, and
Mm-hmm.
now you have to now think about that and figure that out. Where he could just be pure, and then years down the road we could figure out what we want to do with
Yeah.
him. um, but that's our choice, and for those that are close friends and loved ones, they'll be able to see him, and we would love to share him with you, but at the same
Mm-hmm.
time his safety and his innocence is more important than anything else.
Yeah. And let me just tell you right now, my ego got crushed during this process. Like I want to share him because he's so beautiful. He's so cute.
He's got your eyes.
He is everything and more. Clearly, I love cute things. I love cute clothes. I love all of
Oh
it.
gosh, we're gonna be now getting
So,
cute clothes for him.
I'm like, I don't want to hide his face every time. That's such a hassle.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, I'm being so selfish
Wow.
right now. I really am being so selfish.
Dang, babe.
And it's really, I don't know, it's given me a whole different level of introspection. But I can tell you stories for days. You just mentioned people copying like your profiles. I had another friend who someone copied her identity and then took her baby's photos, made a false account, went and did all this sketchy stuff. There's stories on stories on stories, and it's just amplifying.
Yeah.
So
Evil's not going away in this world until
yeah,
second coming. So it's just going to be
yeah,
more implied. The more good will
yeah.
come.
And just remember, like our situation, we live a very public life. We have a big audience,
Yeah.
you know.
So it's a more amplified. But do not think just because
Yeah.
you don't have as much of a public life, like it can't happen to you. And so just be mindful of these things. Just like as we're mindful of these weird stalker situations. Like the world is very interesting out there. And
Mhm.
while it couldn't be more of a blessing and opportunity to go and
Mhm.
expand, it's also a two-edged sword where it's more exposure. And so don't let that hinder you, don't let that cripple you, but take the
Yeah.
precautions to keep moving forward diligently and with discernment.
And pray about everything. You know, even when we told you our birth story, you might have heard some of it and judged us. Like, pray about why you're judging us. Pray about your decisions. Pray about, if you're trying to have a child. Pray about if you're trying to find a spouse. Pray about if you're trying to make a decision of what to do. Maybe quit that job, start that thing, where your time goes. This is why you can't just listen to influencer public people, even like us. We're just sharing our story.
Mm-hmm.
You have to take that up with God. And the more I took it up with God, well, first I took it up with my husband and I was like, he's right. I don't want him to be right because I want to show my cute kid. And then I started to take it up with God. I started to do research, and then people randomly, is it random that I went to a birthday party and I sat across from the girl whose kid's photo got taken that is in a nonprofit? Is that random or is that God trying to reach me? I don't
Yeah.
know. That's where it's like you can consult the greatest educator on the planet, and people call them spidey senses. They call it, you get that weird feeling. Yeah, that's called the Holy Spirit or discernment trying to notify you. And you can literally ask God, please make it so evident
Yeah.
to me what I should do.
Well, think about this
Yeah.
too. That's beautiful, babe. Like our birthing story. That is literally where we had to walk in that toughest moment when we had to decide, do we want to do natural C-section? Because that was this moment of what we're talking about right now, where we had to. I first wanted a second opinion. I wanted to see what else is out there because
Hmm.
even though this is a doctor, I want to hear what another doctor's on.
And what the doctor said straight up, I cannot, what'd she say? She said, I cannot fully tell you that you'll be able to carry another child. I don't know specifically what could happen because of my cervix, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
they give you the
because the
reality of
ridge,
it.
because the ridge of my
Yeah,
cervix,
and
and again, she's just trying to educate me, but I was like, I don't know if I want more kids or not, and I don't want to risk the biscuit, and I feel at peace with having this C-section,
right, because
So
we when we got more
yeah,
insights, we then came together, prayed, and then we asked, do we feel peace here? And that is when that peace was like, this is the right decision. So that's
hmm,
kind of like what this is. And so that's why we do that.
yeah,
This is totally unsolicited, but I'll just share this because it came in my heart. Like, I know we're talking about like a boy right now, but man, it is, if you have a girl,
yeah,
it is even worse. Just please be so mindful. And even like, guys, this is just, you go do your own research to see the discussing this. Obviously, a friend of ours, Tim Tebow, he's the biggest out there talking about sex trafficking. It starts here in America. It's one of the worst here in America. It also starts with little kids. When you are put like share, if you're gonna share your little daughter from let's just say 4 to 14, right? Like share her. But if you are putting photos out there of her in like a bathing suit, I'm telling you, there's people, friends, smart, potentially smart people that are doing these things, but they don't know these things. You know how many sickos there are out there that are literally taking those things and doing, like, if they're going to do that to a baby, imagine a little girl. That is literally the number one sex traffic age range, is around that 4 to 7 year old, if not a little bit more. It's not when you're 18. It's not when you're 21. So please, if there's anything and you do have a girl, please be so mindful of that. You're like, oh, look at them, they're having fun. They're at a birthday party. And it's like, there are some weird, perverted people out there.
I know, it's
and
so
it's
bad.
just bad. So
Yeah.
pray
about it.
That's my unsolicited advice. But you're on our show, so
Yeah.
take it, receive it, and roll on it.
And listen, you are free to change your mind at any time. I used to look at people on social that put hearts over their kids' faces or never showed them, and I would be like, oh, I want to see what Tony and Sage's little girl looks like. Sad. I want to see. I bet she's so cute. And I didn't even know what I didn't KNOW. And this was like, you guys, this was a year ago. You are free to change your mind at any time in your life. And you're also free to have your own opinions. Okay?
Good stuff.
But don't come after me with my opinions.
Yeah.
That's what I'll say right now.
That ain't a us issue. That's maybe a you issue.
That's a you. I got one unsolicited weird message. It wasn't even like, congrats for having a kid. This is somebody I've known for well over almost, 15 years. It wasn't even, it was like straight up calling me out for not showing his face. And I was like, this is a direct reflection because you show your kids on social media with your 700 followers every single day. And you're clearly like making this about you. It was the weirdest message. And she started attacking me. And I literally just unfollowed her. And I'm like, I feel bad for you.
If there's people out there that are like that,
Yeah.
imagine the actual sick and perverted ones.
Yeah.
So
in case you don't think I ever get haters, there you go. And this is for my own decision with my son. It was.
No, we're just living out our life.
Yeah. But anyways, we want to end on a good note.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So where do we go from here?
Yeah.
Well, here's one thing, because we share all this because you are along this journey with us. We want to inspire you, educate you. We're not professionals.
And we also want to be honest with you. Always.
With you.
Yeah.
And so we just really hope, first off, like this gave you hope, encouragement. Maybe you've wanted to have a family one day. Maybe you've struggled to. Maybe you do have a family and you can make these changes. Maybe you took a nugget. Like if anything, like just share with us, number one, like what spoke to you, because this is us opening up, and we wanted to make this sooner, but we got a baby that we're going to prioritize.
Yeah, so now I have a lot more empathy for moms.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
I mean, whoa.
But you know what's really cool,
Yeah.
and Emily, I want you to touch up on this, and because you see some of the DMs, we see it through whether it's Fortivine or your Instagram, is there were so many women during this journey, throughout the whole 10 months, but especially the last few, that were like, girl, you're doing so much, you got to relax. Like, because that's why I doubled down earlier. I was like, babe, like, we weren't trying to force anything. Like, you were relaxing, but I knew what you meant. But people were like, oh my gosh, this woman's probably working 24/7. She's nonstop. Her cortisol's through the roof. And I'm like, no, she's actually at home. This is the moment we found out we were pregnant. We made some big decisions.
Yeah, and you can tell with Rain because he's super chill.
Super chill.
Yeah.
And so just, I want you to touch up on that because it's powerful. Like, you spent years, if not over a decade already, compounding an asset that we talk about time and time again, which is a brand that works for you. Influencers work for their brand. Women of influence have a brand that work for them.
Yes.
And so you, even though you looked so busy and productive and businesses were growing, you were at home taking care of your health and your and the main thing. So touch on that, because this is what women and families and people want.
Yeah.
This is what we are creating. We literally have a company to help with, because it is, you don't want to work 24/7 for the rest of your life.
You want your brand to work for you, your personal brand, and it's so often people with personal branding, they want it yesterday. Okay, they want it tomorrow, and you need to play the long game. And I think too often people only show up when they want something, when they're selling something, when they're starting something. I've made a commitment a long time ago that I was going to show up regardless if I'm starting a new venture, if I need new clients, if I'm starting new products. So that's the long-term mindset for sure. And then I've also really, and this is what we teach all of our four divine clients, I've had the posture of always giving, 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 ask, giving, 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 ask. Very similar to Gary Vaynerchuk, jab, 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 right hook. But when it comes to brand, it's everything. It's allowed me to create the ultimate leverage in my life. And because I know the priorities of what moves the needle in my life and in my business, I prioritize what moves the needle. I say no to what doesn't. And I have focused on that. So as I move into new seasons of my life, it allows me to have this thing called leverage, right? And you want to look at this as an asset. Okay.
Because it is an asset,
Yeah,
whether you believe it or
when
not.
you have a great assets, right? They work for you and you continue um, to work, right? But they grow over time.
Yeah, it's like a stock. Like
Yeah.
at first, it's stock. You're not going to be, cashing in. You got to keep let time play its part, but keep the more you put in, the more it's going to compound. It's the same with the brand, and it doesn't mean you have to wait a decade for that. But it's this is where I'll just add into this too, because when people still hear brand, they're thinking logos, colors, Emily making amazing viral content. It's like, no, a brand is the asset where it's an ecosystem. And so, and everyone has a slightly different ecosystem depending on what your business model is,
And
whatnot. And that's why we figure those things out. And I'll have you add into this real quick. But what's important to understand is, as Emily continually lived her life and she was in her design, I mean, she was sharing more baby content, family content, getting ready for pregnancy content, because that was just what she was called to. We're not here to sell baby
that's
products.
the real because it's your personal brand. Your personal brand is about your essence of who you are. And, we've worked with so many women that come to us that have very vanilla, boring brands and they feel deflated because their essence is not extracted
You just get lost in the noise.
in their brand. And it looks very Me Too, very copy
A lot of
paste.
AI slop.
And it also feels very stale because it's not moving with the rhythm of life.
Ooh, that's good.
So you want to create something that moves with the rhythm of your life, but also drives deep purpose and intention and serves other people. Like, you need to have this symphony of all these playing together if you want to build a brand in this economy with this AI slop. It's never been easier, but you have to get more courageous to actually show who you are. And like I said, it
And you
can
don't have
be
to show everything. We're
no,
not showing our
but it
kids'
can be a
face.
great asset for you. And so now, I mean, last month, the month of my pregnancy, so I thought, I had the highest month in sales in one of my companies that I've ever had. And all I had to do was post, work some DMs,
Is that Heritage Club?
and it's like, that's going to be a 9-figure sales organization very soon
I think
again.
Fortifying was popping off
For
too.
actually Fortivine as well. We actually
Fortifine
had
popping off,
the
yeah.
highest month ever there.
Because results speak for themselves.
Yeah, and so obviously that takes systems place.
Yeah.
If you're inside our world in either company, you know that we train on the real of what it takes to start a company, hire help, all the things, right? We train on all that. But it's for you to understand that no matter where you're at in life right now, that you can absolutely design it. And you've got to make this a priority, this meaning your personal brand, if you
It ain't
want
going
if
anywhere.
you want it to be a great asset for you. And I'll just end with this because I mentor so many people. They show up on Monday once, they get in a little flow, and then they disappear again for another month. And it's so inconsistent. I don't even know what they do, and it's like, it's got to be a priority. Just commit to
Yeah,
it.
if you don't take your brand
Yeah.
seriously, how are people going to take you seriously?
Yeah.
But if you think that's serious is by making AI content every day, and that also looks like
Right.
terrible. And so, yeah, this is just to pour into you, to give you that insights. Because once again, we
Yeah.
are here to walk the walk.
Yeah.
Like, we are not saying we're brand
Yeah.
experts and you
No,
look at our brand.
and this,
Oh man, you're just on fire right
well,
now.
I just want to say it's never perfect. Like, The last how many weeks of my life I've been a hot mess, but I'm still showing you the hot mess.
That's right.
And I'm still showing you the real.
Show the real.
And that's all people really want. So let's go. I'm sweating.
She's a
We love
little hot and feisty right
we
now. We got
love
a
you
little
guys.
baby.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this 10-pound little boy is cooking on me right now. So
Yeah.
we got to put him down for
We
a
want to
nap.
hear from you.
Yeah.
This was a special one for us to share. We'll probably come back to this over the years and listen to this to be reminded of this journey. But we want to hear from you. What spoke to you? What really resonated? Because I'm sure no matter what journey you're in, we're gonna hear different things. So message us
We love
on
you.
Instagram at it's Emily, and also at Jake Havron. If you want to share
And
something.
at the Called and Crowned Instagram.
Yes, and stay tuned on Called and Crown because it is only going to be popping off more.
We've got so many great guests coming.
No, we are not stopping. We had a little quick hiatus with the birthing story or our own birthing story, but we are here for you.
Yeah.
So go be just incredible in the world. Know that you're called and you're royally crowned.
Yay, we
We'll
love
see you in the next
you.
episode.